After passing a few buildings, they entered a side street. Natalie pointed to the last building and said, "This is it." Megán stopped. Natalie got out of the car with agility, and Megán joined her after removing the key and activating the defense system. They entered the building. The building had not suffered much damage. After a while, several people came towards them. Becky said, "Thank you, Natalie. Help has finally arrived." "Megán, what can I do for you?" A woman said, "Give us whatever you have in that car with you." "Megán, they're no use to you, man." It turns out. Suddenly Megán felt a knife at her throat. But she didn't react. "Man, well, now they're no use to us. Megán, you'll regret it." Turning her head and then her body 360 degrees. She grabbed the attacker's wrists and squeezed them between her fingers. The man first groaned and then began to scream. Megán turned completely towards him, twisted his hand in the opposite direction and broke it. The man staggered back, holding his broken hand with his other hand and groaning. This time Megán received a hard blow to her back and neck. She turned to face the second attacker. The young man looked at the iron bar and Megán. Megán snatched the bar from him and slammed it hard into the side of his knee and thigh. She also fell to the ground screaming. Men and women, seeing this scene, all rushed towards her. The two people closest to her raised their sticks and bars to strike, when suddenly they saw the sharp blade in front of them, ready to plunge into their throats. The man said, "My God! What are you?" "Megán." "Who? Not what? I'll show you now." With the movement of her hands, the blades that came out of her forearms tore their thighs apart. The stick and the pole fell from their hands. They tried to stop the bleeding with both hands, but the length of the wound and the intensity of the bleeding were too much. After a while, they fell to the ground, unconscious. This time, two people attacked her with martial movements. Megán's sensory and motor systems were at their highest level. She grabbed the attacker's kick in the back of her head and in front of her with a twist in her hands and held it tightly. With her hands rotating from her shoulders, she forced them to spin around her, knelt on the ground and twisted their legs. Both of them tried to get rid of her, but they couldn't. Finally, there was the sound of breaking bones. She let them go. This time, the sound of a gunshot rang out. A woman was moving towards her while shooting at her repeatedly. The bullets pierced Megán's clothes and stopped in the middle of her metal body. She stood up, looked at the woman's terrified face and said, "You ruined my clothes." She held her palm towards her. A small hatch opened. A hook shot at the woman, the hook and the copper wire with it wrapped around her neck. The wires began to cut and sink into the muscles of her neck and throat with every movement she made. The woman began to struggle fiercely. Megán pulled her hand towards her and punched her in the stomach with her fist. The woman's eyes opened wide and blood gushed out of her mouth like a fountain. Megán untied the wire around her neck and threw her against the wall. The others, seeing their friends torn and torn, threw everything they had on the ground. Megán's eyes fell on Natalie, who was standing in a corner in terror. She reached her, grabbed her neck and lifted her off the ground and said, "You are a scoundrel from now on." The terrified voice of a woman who said, "Please don't hurt her. It's not her fault," stopped her. Megán turned to the owner of the voice and said in a nervous tone, "Who are you? Is this your daughter?" The woman nodded. Megán put Natalie on the ground and went to her mother. Natalie reached her before Megán and hugged her tightly. Her system checked this movement. Megán returned to normal.